All right, I am sitting here with two Slamdance filmmakers. Introduce yourself and the name of your movie.
Yeah, so my name's Ryan Brisco. I was the cinematographer and kind of helped with some of the pre-production stuff for a film that we did for Slamdance. It's part of the Fusion Documentary Challenge, so it was an international competition. And our film title is Jerry Brown's Bucking Bulls. It's about bull riding in the Central California, Fresno, to be specific.
Yeah, my name's Ezra David Romero. I co-directed the story, the documentary. I did audio engineering, and I did all the interviews for the story, and then I edited it, mostly.
Yeah.
In part. Shouldn't say mostly because that sounds bad.
A lot of sharing of roles.
A lot of sharing of roles, but so our film tells a story of like a 75-year-old man who's turning over his bull riding legacy to his 35-year-old daughter, who's tatted up and who's not necessarily a bull riding type. She's not even allowed to ride bulls.
Yeah.
So it tells the story of this underground bull riding scene, which is like no less than a half a mile away from Fresno, which Fresno has about 500,000 people in their city and about 1 million people in the metro area. So it's like there's this bull riding thing going on,
right across the street
from
suburbia.
From suburbia.
Yeah.
And you pay a guy random $3 at a random end of a road on Thursday nights. They let you in, and you can call in days ahead to like plan that you're going to bull ride that night. And so our story goes back and forth between bull riding and this passing of the baton to a younger generation.
And really their relationship, which is just very very unique and a very cool like father-daughter relationship. Mm-hmm. She's an only daughter and an only child.
Only child.
Yeah.
So without her, their operation wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of what our film is about.
So how did you come across these two people and the whole bull riding scene in Fresno and decide to do a movie on it?
Well, part of our this was called the Fusion International Documentary Challenge with the Audience Awards and Fusion Network, which is a conglomeration between Univision and ABC together. Mm-hmm. It was a 5-day competition. So on our Wednesday at 8 a.m. we're given 2 themes and a sentence. Mm-hmm. Our sentence was, "I got a bad feeling about this." And our themes were a first-person narrative or an environmental nature story. Mm-hmm. So we chose first-person, and then a week before we got together and just brainstormed ideas. Mm-hmm. And we knew about all the themes, but we didn't know which ones we were going to get. So we brainstormed so many ideas, and we had a couple other really strong ideas,
mm-hmm.
This is the only one that really came together. The people were great. They wanted to do it.
Yeah, and so we had our other director and co-producer, Michael Price. He had a friend who had been out bull riding before, and so he kind of had heard about it through that. And so when he decided, Michael and Ezra both decided, okay, let's get a team together. Let's do this documentary challenge. We kind of just started contacting people, saying, hey, would you be free in this 5-day period? Could we come out and do a story on you? And this one, like Ezra was saying, this one came together so nicely.
Yeah, so we found out at 8 a.m. that day. Mm-hmm. We went out there at 9 a.m.
And started shooting. We had already contacted them before and said, if we choose you, can we do this? Mm-hmm. And they were totally for it, and they ended up being the best subjects. Awesome.
Because Nitro Circus had come 2 weeks before, and Nitro Circus is like
a huge reality kind of.
Well, it's like reality bull riding with midgets and scooters and all these things. So they had just come before, so they were used to cameras and drones and all that. So it was kind of perfect, and it was they acted as if we were not there for the whole time.
Yeah.
We could give
very
less
natural.
that we had cameras. Mm-hmm. So it turned up. So we had 5 days. We shot it. We went to a bull riding thing on the Thursday night. And then we edited for 2 days, shot some more.
I got to run around with the bulls.
He ran with the bulls.
$6,000 camera
inside the arena. So,
it was fun.
And just a little bit more about us. All of us went to college together at Fresno State. Mm-hmm. I graduated a couple years ago, and I'm a reporter with Valley Public Radio, the NPR station for the region. Mm-hmm. We have a professional photographer as one of them, a guy who works in mixed media. He just graduated from school, and one guy who's in school, and then a cinematographer. So we all knew each other, and we had made one documentary before, Mike, the other co-director, and I. And so this was kind of a dream come true. You make a second documentary, and it gets into Slamdance. It's
Gets into an international competition.
And you made it start to finish in 5 days?
5 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we submitted it, I think, 7 a.m. the day it was due.
Yeah,
So, like, an hour before, we're like, all right, let's go, send it in.
Yeah, like 5 a.m. I went home to sleep because I had to work at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think I was a very good reporter that day, probably.
Right.
But, like...
We had a guy that did all the, like, original score, like, in 5 days.
Yeah. So
We, like, sent him the story and, like, some of the footage and said, hey, Roger, you know, can you put this together? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then, like, sent us a finished video or audio file. Said, here's the score for your film.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's really like homegrown and kind of unique to California, because when you think of California, you don't think of bull riding. You think of like LA and San Francisco.
And the beach and surfing.
And
stuff, right.
and Yosemite. But
Yeah.
in between all of that is this 10,000 square mile valley called the Central Valley or the San Joaquin Valley.
Right.
Where there's about 3.9 million people. And some big cities like Fresno and Bakersfield that have like about 1.5 million between the two of them. But then you have all these other places that are really small, and you have ag, and you have all these like really rich stories.
Yeah.
And so we really wanted to capture
that.
one.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we did, and it was exciting. We've been here the whole time, and snuck into parties and things we probably shouldn't have, but we did. So
That's the experience.
it's experience,
That's what you're
right?
supposed to do at Sundance.
Exactly. And do you have plans of doing another project together?
We've
I
been
think so.
talking about it. You know, I think Michael and I have co-directed one other thing together, and we worked together in the past doing news stuff in college. So I think we've discovered that we're a good team.
And I think seeing all these other films at Slamdance and Sundance has really kind of inspired us.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, coming into it, I know for myself, I love cinematography, but it was like, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy this whole festival scene, a lot of competition. But I've seen so many, like, really creative stories and really well-told narrative pieces and documentary pieces, and I think that's kind of made all of us think, like, you know, we could actually do this. You know, we could come back and not be the low man on the totem pole. You know, be the people that are like reaching out to the other people that are in our place and saying, like, hey, what you guys are doing is great. Like, here's some advice, here's some suggestions. You know, let's work together in the future.
And I think we may feel like we're the low man on the totem pole here.
But we're not treated that way at all.
We haven't been treated that way at all. We've been treated like an equal filmmaker.
Yeah.
And even though we created a short, and as part of this competition, we've been like, everyone thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is so awesome. So we have definite plans to do something else in the future.
Which is the joy of Slamdance, I think, is that you have all these people that are like, there's not judgment. There's not like, you don't have celebrities in your film, so your film is not better because of like how much your budget was. It's really just.
I mean, we spent less than $400 on this film or something.
Yeah, it was like gas
crazy.
money, basically.
Gas money. Yeah, I think what I've learned at this film festival, most of us came from like journalism school, so we have this like newsy background. But I think like the creativity that's here has like sparked in our brains, and it's like we can go home and do something actually extra creative now because we know that there's a possibility. I think we're gonna go back to small town America and be able to like wake that up in ourselves. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you have any advice for a yet to start filmmaker? Something that you've learned already through this experience?
I would say the power, even in all the films that I've watched, the power is always in the story. And just look for anything that catches your interest. And so, like, the other day we watched a film, and the guy had just passed by this little tiny fish store that was owned by a Japanese man. Walked by it many days and kind of was always kind of thinking, I bet it'd be really interesting to talk to that person, and ended up creating a short documentary about the gentleman upon like some interaction, and it was incredible and very powerful. So stories like that, and then for us with this bull riding thing, just being able to see things and realize, okay, I think I'm just going to talk to that person. I'm just going to film them talking and go from there. I think is super important. The other thing is to, which I've been noticing here, is not to worry about the fact that you're not, like, maybe you didn't come from a film school, or you don't have, like, incredible equipment. Like, your smartphone with a camera is totally good, and your just ability to talk to people and be genuine is far more valuable than knowing all these techniques and things like that.
Yeah. I just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think a lot of us hadn't done documentaries before.
And none of us were expecting to be top 12 in an international competition.
We just thought, like, let's do it because we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
And if we get in, then we get in, and it's going to be amazing.
Right.
And it's been amazing. So I just think that's my only advice, is just
go
do it.
for it.
Just go for it. Be creative. And, yeah. I mean, what else is there? I mean,
Submit to the audience award
submit to
competitions.
the audience award competitions.
We got competitions.
They're really
yeah.
cheap actually to get into. And
Yeah.
like,
No, they're all about filmmakers and like
Yeah.
giving indie filmmakers a voice and a way to show their work.
Yeah.
Which that's where our film will be. So if you want to watch it, it will be up on audienceawards.com.
Yeah. I think in a month or something.
I think it goes live. It'll be playing on TV as well, but
Yeah. So the part of what we win for being in the top 12 is we get our
distribution
with Fusion Network. They put it on their air for 18 months.
Yeah.
So it'll be part of their like documentary circuit and all their programs. So they'll place the 12 or 20, the top 20 in different on TV. So it's going to be really cool. And then we get to put this on a resume.
That's
Nice.
a big thing.
That's a big thing. So.
All right. Well, good luck with the audience award.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you so
yeah.
much.